Hello, JPU family. Welcome back to your channel where we deal with facts, accountability, and the issues Jamaica deserves clarity on. So, guys, Mr. Mark Myrie, aka Buju Banton, is back in the spotlight. This time for a video that was made at a concert in the US where he accused the Prime Minister of Jamaica of not helping the victims of Hurricane Melissa. You guys know that with the disinformation going around, a lot of people are saying that Jamaica is collecting a lot of donations and they're not helping the people who are suffering from the hurricane. Let me let you hear the video and I'll come back.
So the Prime Minister of Jamaica said, in some video, with people that you were all kind of things with Jamaican people.
Let me just take a pause here because what Buju just said is misrepresentation. The Prime Minister did not say he saw a lot of people giving things to the Jamaican people. The Prime Minister said that he was against people giving the Jamaican people food and recording it to put on social media. That's exactly what the Prime Minister said, and in that context. So the Prime Minister said he's going to start giving the people coupons and cards to purchase their own food. That way they can preserve their dignity.
But I'm an American and I don't see the Prime Minister giving out one blood clot. I see busy signal. I see Shaggy. I see Sean Paul. I see Usain Bolt. So driver, I want your cans go run the road for me. I find poor people. And when you find them, make sure them get them out of stand and make sure them post in the teeth nothing. Lord of mercy. Are you ready? Everybody worry and put up your hand. Mr. Rise and do us driver. Rose up. Promise.
Okay, guys, so let's really get into it. What happened at this concert in the US last weekend? It looks like Jamaica has a new national concern on its hands. And his name is Buju Banton. Not the musician, not the cultural icon. I'm talking about the public figure using his platform to broadcast dangerous misinformation about Jamaica and the Prime Minister to an international audience. Before I go any further, in response to what Buju just said, the biggest contributor in this whole disaster recovery is the government of Jamaica. The government of Jamaica must have spent over some 400 million Jamaican dollars so far on care packages alone. So what he just said about seeing Cartel and all the other musicians giving and handing things out, the Prime Minister is not going to be out there doing what they do. The Prime Minister's responsibility is on a larger scale, and therefore he handles the help a different way. So the care packages that are going out, they are being delivered by members of parliament, councillors, and they all receive money from the government to make those arrangements. So Buju is performing at this concert or this show in the United States, and during the performance, as you can see, made serious claims that the Jamaican government, specifically Andrew Holness, who has become a target for these PNP affiliated, musicians and other people, they're all insinuating and saying publicly that the Prime Minister is receiving, disaster recovery donations and is not helping the Jamaican people affected by the hurricane. Now, let's pause right here. That statement is completely false and malicious, and verifiable facts contradict it. The Jamaican government has publicly documented hundreds of millions of dollars spent on care packages alone, like I said, and additional funds allocated to recovery, clearing, shelter support, and community rebuilding, so much more. So when Buju told an entire American audience that Jamaica's leader is sitting on donations and refusing to help the people, that is misinformation. And misinformation from a major public figure carries real world consequences. This isn't a little rumor spread or whispered on the corner. This is an international broadcast message from an artist with millions of followers. Some people may say, no, pay Buju no mind, you know. No, you have to pay it mind, and I'll tell you why this is so dangerous. When a public figure spreads misinformation overseas, especially about disaster response, it doesn't just embarrass Jamaica, it doesn't just embarrass or damage our reputation, it affects national security. Because when you accuse a head of the government of intentionally withholding aid or neglecting victims, you endanger his safety. The Prime Minister I'm talking. You create moral outrage, you create hostility, you create instability. The next thing is international relations. Foreign governments watch these statements. Donors, organizations, they watch. Investors, they watch. A statement like that can undermine bilateral trust, aid negotiations, and diplomatic credibility. The other thing is Jamaica's economic recovery. Jamaica depends on tourism, trade partnerships, and international confidence. Negative misinformation, especially about corruption and disaster funds, can scare investors, slow down grants, and make countries hesitant to collaborate. That's not a joke. It's not entertainment. That's a direct threat to Jamaica's economic recovery efforts. Guys, there's a group of people in Jamaica who are still upset about the election results on September 3rd, 2025. Buju Banton is one of them. It is alleged that Buju got back his visa through the assistance of the Maroons. You may hear this for the very first time right here. It is alleged that that's how he got back his visa. Now, only know that the Maroons then were hostile toward the government, attended the PNP conference. Buju attended the PNP conference. So the PNP has been accommodating this type of hostility, or what has become hostility toward the government. Guys, Buju is upset that his preferred party, the PNP, lost the election. He campaigned, he endorsed, and he used his voice. And the Jamaican people still chose different. They chose the Jamaica Labour Party. That is his right to campaign wherever he wants. He's allowed to have his political preferences. But what he is not allowed to do is use misinformation to undermine the country's stability. Let's call it out plainly. Is Buju Banton now acting as an influencer for destabilization? Because when a public figure repeatedly amplifies opposition narratives, false claims, and international attacks on the legitimacy of the government, it raises serious questions. Is this political frustration spiraling and spilling over into reckless public behavior? Is this a deliberate attempt to damage our government? Or is this simply emotional reaction disguised as activism? Whatever it is, the consequences reach far beyond him. I'm not sure if Buju realizes that. Let me be clear. I'm not really calling for any punishment for Buju, not calling for any censorship, and I'm not calling for any retaliation by anybody. But Jamaica must ask the question, should the relevant authorities, local and international, be made aware when a public figure spreads destabilizing misinformation abroad? Because when misinformation crosses borders, it becomes more than a Jamaican internal issue. Mark Golding did the same thing, you know. Remember, Mark Golding was in Canada, in the US, in England, telling people that Jamaica's government is corrupt. They bought out the media. It's the same thing. The US Embassy, the US State Department, the Canadian authorities, These institutions cooperate closely with Jamaica on security partnership, visa management, criminal prevention, and anti-disinformation operations. I'm talking about Buju now. If Buju is using his regained U.S. work privileges to spread harmful misinformation about his own country, the question is valid. Should those institutions be notified so they can determine whether this behavior violates any expectations or agreements? It's not about silencing him. It's about ensuring national security, public safety, and international stability. At the end of the day, this is bigger than Buju. I don't know if he realizes that. This is about responsibility. Jamaica is recovering from a devastating hurricane. People are rebuilding their lives. The government, whether we love them or hate them, is coordinating support, mobilizing funds, and partnering with international agencies. This is not the time for reckless misinformation. This is not the time for political bitterness masquerading as truth. This is not the time to incite distrust and division. JPU family, public influence is power. And with power comes accountability. Buju has a voice. He has a platform. But he also has a responsibility to Jamaica, where he is still a citizen. If you have concerns, bring facts. If you want to criticize, criticize honestly. But do not attack our country with information that can harm the people you say you love, that can harm our government, and can harm our country's image. Jamaica deserves better, and we will continue to demand it, not just from the politicians and elected officials, but those who say that they're public figures and those who say they love our people. This is Jamaica Politics Uncovered, guys. Make sure you are subscribed. Please too give this video a thumbs up, share it with somebody. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the chat. I'll catch you in the next video.